Welcome, Starfield fans. This is your hostess, Daywalker, and I'm here to show you the Dragon Breath. This custom ship is probably the craziest, weirdest, most unique and fun ship I think I've ever built. It was also probably the most expensive by the time I got done with it. But as you can tell by these first few screenshots here, this is a beast and it does fly and it does have pretty good firepower and it just looks kind of weird. Uh, I don't know. I like it though. So let's sit back and take a tour of this thing and then I'll show you how I built it. And here we are at the Dragon Breath, taking a look at it in a 360-degree view here so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like before we start digging into the details. So it's a very unique ship, and I was going for weird and unique, and I think I achieved it. So let's take a look at the inside. The inside is pretty um, minimalistic. There's not a lot of habitats to it. It started out as the Nimitz, which was one big, long, slender ship, and so it didn't have a lot of habitats and kind of kept it that way. I added a couple, but we'll go take a look here. When you come in, you've got your ladder here, uh, and it goes up, but you also have your cockpit right here, so it's real easy to get in and out of the ship to the cockpit. And then you also have back here a control station, and then this ladder goes down, and you have the hatch for docking here, and then also the infirmary on this in the belly. So the belly actually contains just this one habitat, the infirmary, kind of protected down here away from bad guys. So let's go and take a look at the upper level. We can get around Adrian here.
Always a pleasure, Captain.
Okay, so when you come up here, you walk up into a living area, and then toward the back of the living room area, this is where it gets unique and kind of juts off into hallways that go onto the wings. So I added this one, and it is the science lab. And then on this side, we have the workstation lab, the workstation habitat. Both of them have this view out the front, which is pretty cool. So you've got your working area and your living area, and then your control station and your cockpit here on this level. So very minimalistic kind of layout, but it's efficient. I mean, it works. So let's go ahead and go out and take a look at the build. All right, here we are in builder mode, and you can kind of get a look at it here. This is a Class C ship. It does hold a crew of 8, which is kind of unique considering there's not a lot of habitats. It's got max jump, pretty good shields at 2880, and it has 3 weapons. We'll talk about those as we go through the tour. And it's just under 2500 mass. So it does have some shielded cargo. I got a couple of shielded cargo containers in there, but a total of about 2,600 in cargo space. So Let's go ahead and hop in and take a look at some more of the stats. Here you can see the 1600 shield, good stats on the range, mobility at 100, and top speed at 130. And I know for a fact that's a low number because I've got this thing just at cruising speed at 185. With burst, it was over 600. So this it's a mover, and it's got plenty of firepower as well on this because we've got the missile launchers, we've got our suppressors, and then we've got these auto cannons back here, a bunch of them, so they hit pretty hard too. Anyway, let's take a look at this thing. I am going to split it apart, and we're going to go through the pieces and the parts, and I'll tell you where to get them and which ones they are, and we'll put it back together. We'll assemble it back together. So I'll be back as soon as I split it apart. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach in the way I'm going to do this build out and show this to you. I actually broke this apart in 4 different pieces. Got the front section, the back section, and then of course the left and right wings. We're going to do each piece one at a time, and we'll tear it apart and put it back together so that you can see how that works, but also it'll help me to be able to put the overall thing back together because I don't think I would remember otherwise. So without further ado, I'm going to tear the front section apart, and we're going to do that one first. And here it is with that front section expanded out into pieces. And we'll go through each piece as we put this back together. So we're going to start here with this Nova Galactic NG6 landing bay. It did come with the Nimitz, and it works pretty well, so kept that. And then I changed out the cockpit for the Viking CP220 cockpit. So we're going to just stick that right on there. And as you can see, it kind of sits on the front half of that landing bay there. Behind that, we're going to put in this Nova Galactic companionway 1x1. Most of these are almost Nova Galactic. So I'm going to put that in there. And then right behind that, we're going to put in the control station. Okay, and then under the control station, let me do it from this side, it'll be easier to see. Under the control station, we're going to add the cargo. So this is a 10ST hauler shielded cargo hold. We're going to put that one right there. And then this is the same cargo hold, but it's flipped. And we're going to put that one right there. So that gives us our shielded cargo. And then on top of the cockpit, we're going to add this Nova Cowling 2LTF and put that right there on top of the cockpit. So far, so good. And then we've got some landing gear here. This is the NG15 landing gear. Most of my pieces, I think, are the Nova Galactic this time. This landing gear is going to go right here. Another piece to the landing gear. Put it there. And then this 3x1 berth, all-in-one berth, is actually going to go on top of that. Kind of put that together because remember we walked through into here, but then this went up into the living area with the ladder. And then we added these windows. They were on the control room right here in the front. Actually, I think these were moved back one. There we go. And then on top of that, we've got this kind of more decorative pieces. You've got the Demo Spine A, you've got the Demo Spine B, and you've got the Demo Spine C. And so we're going to pick those up and put them on as one piece here. That also includes these pieces. I have 4 of these. The Firebolt 4000 suppressors. So there were 2 of them attached there, and then the other 2 attached with a horizontal weapon mount on the sides. If we can get a hold of this thing. Come on. It doesn't want to move. There we go. Got it. And that goes right here. Okay, and we'll put that on both sides. And then we have these wings. This is a Nova wing, and attached to those wings are the Atlanti 280C missile launchers. And we're going to bring those wings in, and we're going to put them right over the top of that landing gear right there. On both sides, so the same thing. And that pretty much finishes off the front section of the ship. So we'll do the back section next. So as soon as I get it split, I'll be back. Okay, so here we are back with the back section expanded into pieces. And we're going to go through the parts as we put them back together. And hopefully I remember how to do this. I've been having a little bit of a challenge here. I'm going to start here with the Galactic Infirmary, which was in the belly of the ship. And underneath of that, we're going to put this 100 DP Slim Docker right underneath there. That's where the ladder came down and went to that docker as well. So that ladder came from here, the storeroom. So we're going to put that on top of there. And then also these portholes were on the side of the actually I think it's on the back side of the infirmary here. And then we can pull in these NG-15 landing gears. We're going to stick that on there on both sides. There we go. And then on top of this galactic storeroom, we've got this 500T HE3 tank, the helium tank, fuel tank. And we're going to pull that over and put that on top. On top of that fuel tank, I've got this Hope Tech Marker A. Just sticks up kind of decorative on top of that. And then we'll work on what's behind here. We've got this Galleon S204 cargo hold. This is where most of the cargo comes from. That hooks on right there next to the infirmary. And then on the back of that, we've got this Hope Tech Nose B. Kind of finishes off the look on that bottom piece right there. And then we have to start putting in these pieces. So we have the Pinch 8Z reactor, one of the top Class C reactors. And then behind that, we're going to put in this J52 Gamma Gav drive. Also a really good one. So those fit there. And then the this engine, the Supernova 2200 engine, that comes in and attaches here. And these Poseidon DT230s attach to each side of that engine. So that comes in, get this out of the way. Comes in on the sides of each of the engine here to make the three pieces to the engine there. And then we have this landing gear, which is also the NG-15 landing gear. Goes up here. I think that's correct. Yeah. And then this landing gear goes in here. Right above the landing gear, we're going to attach the H-30 Atlas helium tanks. That goes right above. And then the shield, which is an Assure SG-1800 shield generator, has the shield max health of 1600. To me, it's one of the best ones out there. I'm going to put that right on top of that graph drive. You can see that's coming together. And then the last pieces to be attached here are these four. And you know what? I do have something wrong because those attach in there. These got to come out. They must go down. One go down here. Because these pieces attach decoratively on top here. One here, one here. These radiators, the Nova radiators. And one here, and one. Last one here. And that completes the rear section of the ship. Pretty sure I got that right. All right, so then we're going to pick this up, move it back a little bit, and then we're going to take our front and we're going to pull it up and attach it right there. I think everything fits. Appears to be the same level on the landing gear, so I think we've got that much in place. Yeah. All right. So I think we have everything in place there. All right, let's move you out of the way as a whole. Put you back here. Make sure I'm not missing any pieces. And then we're going to take a look at the wing. And both of the wings are identical except for the habitat. So I'm going to just pull this one up and we'll take a look at this wing here. And then we'll get it attached to this. Gotta get this moved back here a little bit so we have room for the wing. So once I get this split apart, I'll be right back and then we'll talk all about the wing and how it's put together and the pieces around it. Okay, we're back with the wing exploded out, and there's a lot of parts to this wing, so I am really hoping I've got it laid out to a point where I can put it back together and remember what I did. So we're going to start right here. This is the science lab. And remember I said the only thing that's really different between the wings is the habitat. So we have the workstation habitat in the other one and the science lab in this one. This happens to be the right-hand wing. So, and then underneath, actually we'll do this one first. This porthole goes right on the front of that habitat, the science lab. This Deimos Skag A goes underneath of the science lab. And then this Hope Tech Nose B goes on the back of that. And then here we've got the Nova Cowling 1LTF. That goes on top of that. And then it also has on top of it one of the Vanguard Hellfire autocannons. There are, I believe, 6 of these, and one of them is here. The next thing is the Hope Tech Hab cross bridge that has to connect here to the science lab. So when you're walking over to the hatchway, it has some place to go. This also is a Skeg A, and we can put that right underneath of that walkway. And then on the right side, we've got this Nova Cowling 2LPF. I'm going to pull that in and put it right there. Sitting on top of that is this Hope Tech Pipes 4. That sits right in here. It's not going to sit there until I get something for it to attach to, but that's where it's going to go. And then this other cowling piece, the 1LTA, that one goes right here. And that's just this same one flipped in reverse. So that goes there. And then we're going to attach this Nova bracer to right here to the back of this cowling. That's the first one. There's a lot of these. That's what I did most of the framework with. Okay. And then this one actually attaches to that side of this one. Actually, it doesn't. It goes on top. And then this, another one of these Nova bracers with a nose B, a Hope Tech nose B on the front and the back goes on top of that. So you've got like a stack of 3 there now. Then we have this piece right here, the tail A, the Deimos tail A. That sticks right here on these bottom 2 below this bumper. Then we have this bumper or nose B is going to attach to the front of this bracer. And as a pair, we're going to move that to right here. Okay, that attaches to that top portion to kind of come across. And then on top of that one, I'm going to pull this one here. This is the also the Nova bracer. Actually, I want to pull that whole thing. That goes on top of that, stacked up like that. Then this has a one of the Hellfire autocannons on top. This piece right here is the engine struts fore top, and that's just kind of decorative. That goes kind of in the front here of this piece. Then we have this engine bracer A. That's going to go right there on the top. Then we have this Deimos bracer A. That connects to that engine bracer. Then on this side over here, we're going to be adding this piece This is one of the Nova wings. And on the end of the Nova wing, we have another one of the Hellfire autocannons. And then lastly, we have another tail, and that goes right here on these top two. So there you have the wing. I believe that is back intact. I'm going to kind of compare here between these two. Whoops. That's right, we didn't get him attached, did we? Let's put you here. There we go. All right. So let's kind of compare this left and right wing here before we put it all together. Make sure I did this correctly. So we've got the crossover. Okay, this is the workshop, galactic workshop. Got these on top. On top. The wing comes out with this setting on the wing. Then we have 1, 2 connected to that. 1, 2 connected to that. Get the third one up here. And then the wing. So the third one and the wing. This comes over to 2 more of these with this up the front. Yep. And then that on top. The wing sticking out the side. And yeah, it looks like I did manage to remember how to put it back together. That is an achievement in itself for me, considering how early in the morning it is. All right, I'm trying to get this out of the way so we can pull this over. All right, so here's our main part of our ship. And now we're going to put the wings on. We went over the wings and what was made with those. I'm going to grab this here, bring it over, and it goes right here. So it's connecting to the back portion of that all-in-one berth. So it's at the very back of that all-in-one berth. Do the same for this, pull it over, attach it to there. Actually, they did not come together correctly. What did I do wrong? Aha, I see what I did. Okay, hold on. Whoops. I need to detach this wing portion. So I'm just going to pull this out. Because then I can pick up this whole wing right here and move it. And then put this back on. This actually attaches to the front of this, not the back portion. So then when I put it together, and then it all comes together. And I do believe that is the build. I think we've covered it. So we're at nominal, so that means I put it back together correctly. All of our stats look good. And I believe that's it, folks. That's the build of Dragon Breath. It was supposed to be Dragon's Breath, but it didn't give me enough room for the name. So it ended up being Dragon Breath. And I think I was looking at this and I'm like, this looks like, you know, the mouth, the face and the mouth of a dragon breathing fire. So that's where his name came from. Anyways, that is the build. So thanks a lot for joining me on this tour. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this very unique vessel. And I hope to catch you on the flip side. Take care.